Hi, in this video I give you a tour of the Singer 301 Adjuster's Manual. Hopefully my presentation will be helpful to you. Thank you for viewing. Please subscribe, it helps. The technical issue that occurred gratefully disappeared as quietly and completely as was its arrival. During my unscheduled sabbatical, I invested time in my French grammar study, and the extra time also gave me the chance to play hours and hours of guitar. My apartment studio quarters have improved greatly this past week. The one big improvement was sending 20 sewing machines down to the storage locker I rented. The surgery recovery is going well. I am able to move machines again. In the next video, I will thread both of the 301 machines. There is an extra video at the end of, there's an extra video clip at the end of this video at timestamp 15 minutes, 15 seconds. Please subscribe. Thank you. This is where I make that video about the adjuster's manual for the Singer electric sewing machine 301. I have the adjuster's manual, so that's where I'm kind of starting out. Then we'll take a closer look at the adjuster's manual and some of the more salient or interesting points in there. I have two 301s now, so there is an extra clip after this video at timestamp 15 minutes, 15 seconds. Please subscribe. Thanks. That is really nice. I guess I should call this one tan. The other one I could call two-tone because of its two-tone color scheme. Here we are with both 301s. The one on the right, the solid color one, I named that one tan. The one on the left, which has the tan color, and then the vanilla color on the top and the Singer light canopy, I call that one two-tone. This is an educational video which includes the information from the adjuster's manual for Singer electric sewing machine 301. I am self-supported channel. I am not sponsored or monetized by anybody. I bought the manual from the Featherweight shop. It was included in a Singer 301 kit that they sell. This is page 1 actually. This is called page 1. But you can see that the index or the contents is page 2. Here we are with both 301s. The one on the right, the solid color one, I named that one tan. The one on the left, which has the tan color, and then the vanilla color on the top and the Singer light canopy, I call that one two-tone. This is an educational video which includes the information from the adjuster's manual for Singer electric sewing machine 301. I am self-supported channel. I am not sponsored or monetized by anybody. I bought the manual from the Featherweight shop. It was included in a Singer 301 kit that they sell. And we had this is page 1 actually. This is called page 1, even though they don't title it that way. But you can see that the index or the contents is page 2. And on there we've got a number of topics which are in this booklet. So I've made some notes, and there's some really cool things about what's in the book. This is page 3. Briefly, it is about removing and replacing the motor. The motor model number that should be in this sewing machine is a PA2-8. The top of page 4 is to remove and replace the Singer light socket Now, myself, I've never done that or have any reason to do that, but I'm sure if you are working as a Singer sewing machine repairman at a very busy time of the Singer day, then of course you'd need to know that, and you need to have a manual that lets you know that. The bottom of page 4 is to adjust the height of the presser foot. Page 5 is to time the rotating hook. Now I believe that I have done that because I have timed the hook and the needle before, so I will claim that I have done that. But if you're looking to learn that or brush up on and review on how to do that, that certainly would be where to get the information. Page 6 is a whole page of typing, and the top half is to set the needle bar at the correct height. The bottom half, oopsie daisy, wrong. I was hitting the wrong knob there, oops. The bottom half is to set the needle bar bushing, and rotating hook when all are out of time. I'm going to take this time to make a point about the bushing. The needle bar bushing is not something that any of us should ever want to touch, like modify it, move it, take it out, move it up or down or nothing, because it's set at the factory. You can do it, but there is the process to do it. And I can't think of a scenario where I would need to remove the needle bar bushing. Likewise, the mesh on the gears are set at the factory. Be very careful before you disengage or take apart any gears that are meshed together, because they have to go back exactly the same teeth, in between the same teeth. It's very particular. Page 7 is about to remove and replace the rotating hook without affecting timing. I do that all the time. And the bottom is to replace the rotating hook shaft. I've taken hook shafts out and put them back in all the time, kind of thing. That's kind of almost my stock and trade. So that rotating hook shaft, it's the bottom of page 7 and the top of page 8. And then page 8 gets really good because it is talking about disassembling to remove and replace the hand wheel. That's what that is all about. So that'll be useful to probably most people watching if you do your own maintenance. If you don't do your own maintenance, well then this is purely an interest point for you. Page 9 is about the feed dog. The top of the page is to adjust feed dog height, and the bottom part of the page is to adjust feed dog lengthwise in throat plate slots. So you're going to adjust the height of the feed dogs as they go up and down, and then you're going to adjust the feed dogs so they're either closer to the front, to the one side of the machine or the other. So that's what's going on there. And then page 10 is to regulate the feed throw out on the top of the page. Now I don't sew and I don't darn and all that stuff, so I've never actually used the feed throw out. So that's about all I can really say on that. And below that on page 10 is information to adjust the arm shaft and correct end play. Now I know that's a fairly common ailment, getting sometimes getting loose play on the arm shaft because it moves so much, but I've never had that problem, or I just don't know enough to realize that I had that problem, but I don't think I have it. So that was page 10. As we flip the page, and we go to the top, it tells us that page 11 is to adjust gears for correct mesh. Now, so that's what the top of the page is about. It's about adjusting the gears for correct mesh. Now, I've already mentioned that I take the gears apart and I put them back together, and any of you have watched that video, or a couple of videos. I use nail polish to, as the sign to where the mesh is. Now, they're talking about actually taking the casing, or whatever they call that cover, they call it their connecting rod cap. And they're actually taking that off and adjusting and meshing. I think they may be changing the mesh on the gears. I don't know that for sure. But, be very, very careful whenever you take gears apart. First of all, mark them with nail polish or something that will stay, that won't get wiped out by oil or crud cutter or water and soap. And nail polish is very hardy, at least when it's new and fresh. That's been my experience, and that's what I use nail polish for, is for the sewing machines. So there we go with that. At the bottom we have another crowd pleaser, another favorite, and that's to remove and replace the bobbin winder. Then we pick up some steam and start to get really interesting, and this is a wiring diagram. Let me aim you up a little higher perhaps. Wiring diagram for class 301 machine. And so there's the one page. There's another page towards the back, but there's the pedal, and it shows you how to wire that, and that. So that's, and that's pretty self-explanatory. There's also an article about wiring harness and the line lead for machine 301-1. And there's some more, another diagram on just that, the wiring harness and line lead. This, my friends, this is so valuable to me. I just about fell off my chair when I saw it. And this is three things here, this piece of paper. It's a Singer 301-1 machine parts, and it's a Singer 301-1 machine electrical equipment. And I want to point your attention to the small print here, and maybe a couple of other places, but it's showing points of wear. And all these, I took a pink highlighter, and I'll just go in a little closer, let you see what I mean. And all those pink highlights there are where Singer has told the Singer repairman, this is a wear point, this is a wear point, this is a wear point, these are wear points. So when you have a problem that there doesn't seem to be maybe an obvious answer or solution or resolution or whatever, that indeed may be the way to formulate it. The other thing about these pages that we're looking at is you can see even right here there's a little list of parts and the part numbers, and same here, there. And there's all the electrical stuff on page 16, extremely important. This is really useful for me. I do motors, so I love Singer electric, especially the PA motors. I really like them. They're very common in the 400s and 500 series. And here again, we have the wiring diagram for machine 301-1, and also here are the electrical parts list and their part numbers. So, this, is it worth purchasing? I think this is invaluable. For a guy like me, for a person like me that has two 301s, 301s are classic sewing machines. I don't have a black one yet. If I can find a black one, that would be really, really supremely, cool. And so I'm just trying to let me check my notes and see if there's anything important that I'm missing here. There's not a lot of warnings in this book, but when they warn you about meshing gears and even the arm shaft, I'd be very leery of undoing or taking apart the arm shaft. So, yeah, and all of those pages 12 to 18, are all part of the manual of electrical instruction. So that's kind of a double manual. I'm trying to think what else I got with this kit, 301 kit that I purchased from that shop, the Featherweight shop. And I did get a replacement LCD bulb for the 301. I haven't put it in yet. And there was a few other things like cleaning little cleaning tools and that kind of thing. And I don't even, and it was years ago. It was probably going on 3 years ago, right around the time I started the channel. So, but yeah, so there we have it. I think that if you can get your hands on one or download it or whatever, do it, because it's got information that you, as a 301 maintainer, will be able to use. You may not be able to use all the information, like I don't, and I do, a little bit of sewing machine maintenance. So, but anyway, hope you enjoyed this little video. To close, please subscribe. I'd really appreciate your help. And thank you for viewing. And please do come back again. Stay safe, have fun, and adios, amigos. And I do really like these machines. This one over here, tan, I bought that a number of years ago for $125 Canadian. South Shore, Montreal, city on the South Shore called Longueuil, and it had nothing, and it didn't work. But it had no case, no manual, no nothing. It was just, it didn't even have a plug and a pedal. It was like, here, 125 bucks, there it is. And it didn't work. And the guy told me that I'm selling it here for 125 bucks. He thought he was selling it to me cheap. I thought he was getting a good penny for it, considering that there was no case or cabinets and no accessories or feet or any of that kind of stuff. But nonetheless, I knew that 301As are they're a really wantable machine. They're a really sought after machine in my mind. And upon inspection, getting it home and taking the bottom off, somebody had stuffed a piece of purple felt cloth on the rigging that drives the horizontal arm shaft. The metal levers coming down that drive the horizontal. So it would turn backwards, but it would never turn forwards and sew. So that's the story on tan. Two-tone here, I got around March 17th, 18th, 19th, 2023 for 100 Canadian. And 100 Canadian is worth about 75 American dollars. Our Canadian dollar is only worth about 75 cents against the strong American buck. So, but this one I really liked, and the price, when I saw it advertised, the guy was asking $75 for it. And so even though I just had surgery the week before, I kind of devised a plan for being able to somehow maneuver the sewing machine. I mean, I take these things apart. I take these right out, and I put a towel through the eye there, and lift them up that way. There's careful ways to do it, and so, but yeah, they're beautiful machines, and they're a lot of fun to work on. They're fairly simple and straightforward and clear to get at and all that sort of stuff. I've got that one a little bit taken apart right now. I've taken the bobbin case and hook out, so that has to go back in. And then I have the extension. Actually, I have the extension right here, over on the other table here. So yeah, I'm really happy about this one. Is one owner. The lady was 86. She passed away last September, and the guy I bought it from, his name was well, I'll just say his name was Jim, but he was really successful in the Canadian aerospace industry. He you know, he had lived in California. He lived in LA for 5 years doing a NASA contract, and he had lived in Florida as well doing a NASA contract. I don't know how long he was in Florida for, but it was a few years at least anyway, you know, like 2 or 3 or something, or maybe a little more. But he spent, yeah, 5 or 8 in LA, which he really loved, because he loves old cars, you know, and there's a lot of old cars down there. So yeah, I'm really thrilled with these machines. I've got the case all cleaned up, and, well, the top of it anyway, you know, sanded and all that. I didn't sand the whole thing and stain or varnish the whole thing. I just washed it, and but I'll tell you, just doing that, you know, this little series of the last 4 or 5 videos where I kind of got into the case and did some more than just, you know, cursory cleaning. Normally the case doesn't get cleaned, you know. I mean, the dust sits there and gathers for 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 years, you know. And so this one is clean inside now. And I was looking at the other one over here, and yeah, it's clean on the outside, but inside I noticed, you know, that well where the sewing machine sits when you lower it in there, there's that curved piece of wood, and that's where the dust always, you know, it's attracted there like a magnet. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm going to get back to work with this adjuster's manual. This is page 1. He calls that page 2. They call that the index. Where are we here? Oh, I'm way out of line. There. And there's page 3 and 4, 5 and 6. Some good stuff, bobbin case stuff there, needle thread relation of needle to rotating hook. They're showing you how the needle should be lined up with the hook there. That's really handy. I think there's a lot of us that'll be interested in hand wheel stuff. Even if you're not a real huge, you know, committed maintainer in general, hand wheel stuff is always, if you'll pardon the pun, handy to know. Intentional, of course. Page 9, adjust feet dog height, feet dog lengthwise, regulate feet throw. Like I said, I don't use it. I don't sew yet. I should. Adjust an arm shaft for correct end play. I won't be doing that. Adjust gears for correct mesh. No, I don't do that, but I am able to mark my gears to save the mesh, you know, to signify, to indicate the mesh, so that I can take them apart and put them back together. And I'm sure anybody that's watched my videos has seen me do that a few times. There is remove and replace the bobbin winder. That's always handy, even people who aren't big time, you know, critical maintainers. Everybody, you know, if you can oil the machine and dust it and thread it, and you know, do that, the bobbin winder, you're probably ahead of, you know, most people. And then we get into the electricals. I love the electricals. There's a lot of information in here on the electricals. The diagrams are the 3 diagrams are kind of similar. This is worth it's worth a lot. And what it is it's got all the machine parts and the electrical parts and their part numbers, and it also shows the points of wear in this machine, where Singer knows after testing all their machines and getting the reports back from their service people, service persons, that these are the wear points, and that's why they put it in here, so that they're they're maintenance people, they're fixers when if they have a problem that they seemingly maybe can't solve all the way, or they can't get any resolution, they can check that out and make sure that it's not because of this, you know. But, and once again, a lot of electrical stuff, more parts and labels there, and big electrical parts list there with the numbers. And page 18, last printed page, manual of electrical instruction, shows you the wiring diagram for, if you can get your hands on one, I'd do it. If you've got 301s, or you trade in 301s, or you may trade in 301s. You know what, I'll tell you what, if you got a 301 and you're into maintenance, and you can get an adjuster's manual, that's the maintenance manual you want as a backup. Because there's not everything in here. I mean, it doesn't even touch on the, it doesn't touch on that and that and a number of things. It's very specific to those few items. Anyway, I'm going to stop there.